On today's show, we bring a classic D&D monster to life in the tastiest way possible. Stay tuned. Alright, so we've all been there. One moment you're out there dungeon crawling with your friends looking for treasure and glory, and the next you're being suspended in an ooze, slowly digested. For you, like so many before you, have just fallen victim to the Gelatinous Cube, aka the Dungeon Roomba. This classic D&D monster's sole job is to just kind of slide through dungeons, picking up all of the junk and stray weaponry and occasional adventure it might come across. Basically just keeping everything clean and tidy for the dark wizard that owns that place. And since most of us have fallen victim to its sticky, hungry clutches at some point, I figured it was high time we turn the tables a little bit. To make our tasty version of this ooze, we're gonna start with 2 boxes of lime jello. Now, I know the versions that are usually in the game are like clear, so you don't realize you're about to walk into it, but I thought the green would kind of stand out and look a little fun. Feel free to do this however you want to do it though. Now, the standard recipe for 1 box of jello would be 1 cup of boiling water and then 1 cup of cold water. This recipe really won't work for this purpose though because it's too loose. Instead, we're going to be using the Jello Jigglers recipe. Basically half the amount of water, we're omitting the cold water altogether. So since I'm using 2 boxes of jello for this recipe, I measure out 2 cups of water, 1 cup per box, and set that to boil. Then I just add in the jello powder, stirring to combine. To give my gelatinous cube the cube shape, I busted out this glass food container I had. Doesn't have to be glass, can be plastic or whatever, really any similarly shaped container will do. To make sure I can take it out easily and it doesn't stick to the sides too much, I just sprayed in a bit of this non-stick cooking spray and wiped away any of the excess. Then I just added in my hot mixture. From here, we're gonna wanna put this in the refrigerator just to start setting up. Now, one of the things that makes this like a gelatinous cube is all the stuff it's got floating in it. Remember, it's been crawling its way through dungeons, so there's gonna be like weapons strewn about from prior adventurers, a few corpses, you know. Which honestly led me to a little bit of a problem. Most of the other recipes I've seen for this use like little bone-shaped sprinkles that you can usually get around Halloween time. These are actually really hard to find when it's not that season. So to get around this, my answer was to buy these little molds of skeletons and weapons and make my own. As my sugary medium, I decided to use some fondant. This stuff is usually used for making decorations for cakes or making like the surface of a cake look really smooth. But I found by just taking a little bit of this fondant and shoving it into my molds, it took the shapes really cleanly. That being said, it's still really soft in this form, so you're gonna wanna leave it out a little bit to air dry and solidify a bit. But that being done, it left me with some really nice bones and weapons for my cube to devour. Now, although this does work, I will say that it doesn't like the liquidy kind of inside of Jello. It starts to make it look a little cloudy over time. Not bad, I can still clearly make out what everything is, but still, if you have the option for using like a hard candy of some sort, I'd definitely go with that instead. Anyways, after about an hour of cooling, you want to take that Jello back out. At this point, it's started to firm up, but it's still super loose. This is when we want to add our dungeon detritus. All we have to do is use a skewer and make a hole. Then grab one of our candy bits and position them where you want them in the Jello. Just have fun placing these all around in different positions and depths. You know, as if a ravenous monster's just been kind of grabbing them up willy-nilly. Then once you're happy with your arrangement, bring it back to the refrigerator to finish cooling. And thanks to that little bit of cooking spray I added earlier, it was super easy to disconnect my Jello from the container. But if you do find you're having a little bit of trouble, if you just warm up the sides, it'll help the Jello release a little bit better. And check that out, one dreaded dungeon dustbuster ready for your consumption next time you and your friends want to roll some dice. Now I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, why don't you hit me with some of that thumbs up love, and don't forget to subscribe so you know when I release new content. In the meantime, keep leveling up, you.